Today we're going to talk about ordered pairs. And when we talk about ordered pairs, we are talking about x and y. And usually we put them in parentheses, x comma y. And this is in regards to graphing. And you guys remember the coordinate plane. X is the horizontal one, right? And then y is the vertical one, the vertical axis and the horizontal axis. And then remember, we put x comma y. So for example, if I was looking to graph, let's say 3 comma negative 1, I would go to, on my x, I would go to 3, 1, 2, 3, because positive to the right, and my y is negative 1, so I would go down 1, so that would be my point. So that's what we're talking about today. And we're talking about how to get ordered pairs. So first, a definition. Ordered pair, which is x comma y, is a pair of numbers that can be used to locate a point on a coordinate plane. So it could be written as something like -2, -5 or something. Probably looks something like this. So a pair of numbers that can be used to locate a point on the coordinate plane. So -2, -5, since this is the x and this is the y, we would go -2, -5. Okay. So how do we actually use this? Well, we're going to see if with this equation, if these work for it. So we're going to use this equation, y equals 3x plus 2. So it says determine whether each ordered pair is a solution of y equals 3x plus 2. So we're going to, for number 1, we're going to see, remember it's x comma y, so we're going to see if these fit in. So it's going to be y equals, so I'm just going to rewrite the whole thing, 3x plus 2. So I'm going to plug in 5 for y, since that's my y. And I'm going to plug in 2 for x, since that's my x. And now I simplify. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. And we had 5, so this is not a solution. So number 1 is not a solution. Because we plugged in 2 for x and 5 for y to see if it would work. It didn't work, so it's not a solution. So that ordered pair does not work. Which means this graph, if you graphed y equals 3x plus 2, it would not work for 2, 5. And I'll show you why in a second. Let's look at 3 and 11. Remember, this is your x, this is your y. We're using the same equation. So y equals 3x plus 2. So 11 equals 3 times 3 plus 2. Well, 3 times 3 is 9 plus 2 gives us 11. So 11 equals 11, so we're happy. So that is a solution. So basically what this means is if we graphed this, if we graphed y equals 3x plus 2, we would see the line go through 2, 5, or go through 3, 11, but not through 2, 5. Let me show you that. So now we can graph this, and we can see that at 311, if we go to, let's zoom in a little bit. If we would look at 311, that 3 and 11, that's going to be a solution. But 2, 5 is not a solution. So we'll look at 2 and 5's down here. And notice the line is not through that, so that's not a solution. Okay, try numbers 3 and 4 on your own. So here, for number 3, we're going to use y equals 4x minus 1, because it says determine whether each ordered pair is a solution for y equals 4x minus 1. So we're going to write that, y equals 4x minus 1. And remember, the first one's your x, the second one's your y. So it's going to be 11 equals 4 times 3 minus 1. And 4 times 3 is 12, minus 1 is 11. And 11 is 11. So this is a solution. Let's take a look at number 4. Again, we're going to use y equals 4x minus 1. So we're going to plug the 3 in for y. Remember, that's x comma y. Equals 4 times 10 minus 1. 4 times 10 is 40, minus 1 is 39. And 3 does not equal 39. So this is not a solution. And again, let's try to graph that. So let's see. Y equals 4x minus 1. Let's take a look. So 10(3) was not a solution. So if we look at 10(3) here, not too much. So if we look at 10 and 3, that'd be right here. That would not work, right? Because the line's nowhere near there. But let's look at 311. If we look at 311, and you look here at 3, at 3 and 11, that is a solution. So that's why it works. That's why when you plug it in, it would work, because that's the line for it. All right. Now it says use the given values to make a table of solutions. Here's how that works. So we're going to make a nice table. And the first one is going to be x. And here is going to be 8x, because this is what y equals. We're going to plug our x's in for that. Then that will give us our y, because whatever you plug in for x, you're going to get a y out of it. So that'll give us, if we put in these x's into this equation, we're going to get a y in return. And then that's going to give us our ordered pair, our x comma y. So here's what it looks like. So for my x's, I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to plug in, since these are my x's, and I'm doing 8 times x, 8 times 1, 8 times 2, 8 times 3, and 8 times 4. So 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 8 times 3 is 24, 8 times 4 is 32. And then that gives me ordered pairs. I have an x, I have a y. And remember, ordered pairs are just x comma y. So that's going to be 1 comma 8, 2 comma 16, 3 comma 24, and 4 comma 32. Now all I did is I know my x's, so I made an x column. I know what my equation is, or my function you could call it, so I made that column. Then I knew I was going to get a y in return, so I made a y column, whatever my answer was going to be, and then I put them in ordered pairs. I took my x here, and my y here, and I made them into ordered pairs. So that's all we're doing here. So try it for number 6. Okay, welcome back. So here, instead of x and y, we have n and m, and that's okay. But now, since my m's are 1, 2, and 3, I'm going to make my m over here instead of my x, and that's going to be 1, 2, and 3. And here is going to be 6m minus 5. And in return, I'm going to get an n. And then here is going to be my m comma n. It's going to be an ordered pair. And take a look. Here, x becomes m. 8x here becomes 6m minus 5 here, n, whatever your answer is, was y, so y becomes n, and then x comma y here becomes m comma n here. So now I'm just going to plug in these different values for m and see what I get. So that's 6 times 1 minus 5, so that'd be 6 minus 5, which is 1. Here, this is 6 times 2 minus 5, so that's 12 minus 5, which is 7. This is m is 3, so 6 times 3 minus 5, so 6 times 3 is 18, minus 5 is 13. So that gives me my ordered pairs. So 1 comma 1, 2 comma 7, and 3 comma 13. So these should all be, if we were to graph this, these would all be solutions. And let me show you. I'm going to use x and y, though, because that's how the computer reads it. So instead, I'm going to do y equals 6x minus 5. So we do that. So we have our graph here. And we know that these are our solutions. So 1 comma 1, that should work. And it does, right? 1 comma 1, 2 comma 7, and look, that works. And 3 comma 13, and that works. So all of these are solutions for 6m minus 5, yn equals 6m minus 5. And that's why we got them. Okay, remember, ordered pairs are x comma y.